I love slalom. It's amazing. But there's nothing like jumping. It's a different beast. Yeah, that's amazing thing, feeling of that acceleration, like G-forces, like boosting you up in the air, like pull, flight, everything is like all those, emotions and everything. And then also like emptiness, because it's like you flying there and there is nothing in the world bothers you anymore. It's like that moment of, I don't know, being enlightened in a way. You don't think about anything else. Like if you think about it afterwards, when you fly in there, like after, all these emotions, being scared, excited, all this adrenaline, you kick the jump, and if you somewhat did everything good and you get a lift and you're there, and it's just a few seconds, but then it's also like eternity in a way.
All right, welcome back or welcome to the Water Ski Podcast. My name is Matteo Luzzeri and I am your host for this episode, next episodes, maybe some I won't be host, I don't know yet. In any case, I just got back from Malibu Open in South Carolina, in Charleston, where, I skied a little bit better than last week, I gotta say. I finished 8th, so I didn't make the final, but made the semifinal and did okay in the semifinal, let's put it this way. I knew that 3 of 41 was the mark. I thought, probably run off 3 of 41 for top 4 spots in the final. I wasn't too far off with my prediction. I was a buoy off with my score. But no regrets. I finished the pro season pretty strong. And now I'm just going to chase some record tournaments and try to improve my average, because why not? My ski feels good. I feel good. I have a little bit of time. Might as well give it a shot. Speaking of pro tournaments and speaking of big scores at pro tournaments, this week I interviewed Igor Morozov. Now, Igor is out of Russia, but he's often in the US and, well, actually, he travels around the world. So we basically sat down yesterday morning, I'm recording this on Monday. So we sat down Sunday morning after the tournament and we just chatted. We chatted a lot. It's actually almost a 2-hour long episode. I was considering splitting it into 2 parts, which would have saved me a little bit of time and trouble. But honestly, this was a 2-hour long conversation, and I want you guys to listen to it the way it came out. We touched on a lot of things. We touched on obviously the Malibu Open, which he dominated this past weekend. First pro tournament win for Igor, so he was quite excited. And we speak a little bit about his beginnings in the sport, some of the other things that he did before he fully committed to the sport, and some of the things that he manages to do whilst he's fully committed to the sport. I'm going to leave quite the extensive show notes here, so make sure to check them out. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast, to review it, to tell your friends. The whole point of this is to promote the sport of water skiing, and of course through the faces and voices of skiers and the people in the sport, although sometimes you'll have to hear me ramble about something that I have on my mind that week. But yeah, the idea is making it climb on charts and hopefully promote the sport in the best way possible. With that being said, let's jump right into Igor's interview. All right, well, let's get it started then. Well, Igor, first of all, thank you so much for coming in, giving me this interview.
And congrats on yesterday. You know, you killed it.
Well, thank you. I'm really happy to be here. You know, it's always a good opportunity to chat about our sport. And yes, I'm super stoked about yesterday.
You should.
I don't know. Happy, excited, and yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so let's talk about it for a second. First pro tournament win for you?
Yes. I mean, of this caliber, yeah, elite tournament. Because you know, sometimes you have like a smaller cash prize tournaments, but you know, this one, I had like, I mean, quite a lot of podiums, thirds, seconds, but you always, you know, you wanted that top spot, and
Yeah.
and yes, it's like really happy about it.
Yeah, and I know quite the dominating fashion, and we can obviously talk about this because you basically went out Friday, first jump, 227, first jump off the dock, which is in meters what, 69?
I believe it's 69 too.
Okay, so first jump, you take the lead. You took, I believe you took another couple of jumps, right?
Yeah, I took all 3 jumps. I felt pretty good, and I got a bit too excited. Like I felt that I have a lot of room to go.
Yeah.
And like on my third jump, I had a better setup, but I was, you know, just wasn't patient enough. Was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna fly so far right now, and
Right.
just kind of didn't do the right job there. But you know, it was good training for the next rounds.
Right. So the tournament format for you guys was however many you were into 8 that made the final yesterday at night. And then top 2 of the night went for a 2 jump off, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. And in the round of 8, you were leading, right? 66.2 meters.
Yeah, that's right.
And so that puts you last off the dock of those 2 skiers.
Yeah.
Walk me through those last 2 skiers. Who were you skiing against? What was going on in your mind? How were you feeling?
So I ended up with 2 skiers with Taylor.
Yep.
And heads up to Taylor. He was jumping. I think like he was doing really well, especially considering that he crashed in practice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He crashed right in front of me. I was going next, and I was like, come on, dude.
Right.
I'm here to practice, chilling, and someone goes out of front. I was like, okay.
And literally in front of you, because at Trophy Lakes, the starting dock is pretty much where the 200 buoy is, roughly.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, well, okay. I'll go do 3/4 and cut and pass.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, he came back and jumped really well. So, I mean, I think he did a really great job, you know, coming back like that out of a crash. That's pretty amazing. So, 2 of us in the 2-man final, 2 jumps. And, I mean, I didn't know what to expect, you know, especially with the night jump and, you know, 2 jumps. There's no holding back anymore. It's
Right.
like you just had a, you know, round of 8 and, you know, you did all you possibly could. You ended up in top 2, and then you never know, like any jumper can put it out there and just have a huge jump,
Right.
or
right.
not.
Or, yeah, right.
So I just wasn't thinking or trying not
Right.
to think about it at all. I just sat there, had you know, a little bit of like water splashing around me.
Right.
I look at that full moon, which was beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
And just rested, and waited for, Taylor started jumping. Then I just got into my regular routine, putting my skis on and everything, and asked for what the result I needed to, to jump further.
Yeah.
And just went there thinking about what I can do better than the previous round.
Okay. Is that important for you? Like, because obviously you want to know the score to beat, I would say, in any event in water skiing, like even if it's slalom or tricks. But does it change the way in which you approach the set, especially because it's 2 jumps, not 3?
I don't think so. It's just more like, well, it really depends on what the position you are coming from.
Right.
Like if you're confident, you know what to do. If you know, like, that you can do this, it is easier.
Right.
Because you know the result, and you can, okay, I just need what I know. It's like you don't need to do like something extra magical, right? You just need to do exactly what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And then, but if you're, sometimes it's easier to go first one, so you don't have a pressure, and you just kind of, maybe risk it, or you never know, and put a pressure on the guy after you, and he might just not jump as far.
Right.
I think like one of the a crazy moments, like for me, jumping, at Mumbai, we have those night jumps. So there's a few night jumps before the big final, but it's still basically like a small tournament within the tournament.
Right.
So Sunday night jump, all their like top 5 guys jump. They do 3 jumps. Then I believe it's 2 jumps, 3 guys, and then 2 guys. I don't remember. Is it 1 jump? Wow.
You're testing my knowledge of Mumbai
yeah,
here.
well, I'm testing myself. So anyway, and I ended up on that Sunday night jump in 2-man with Freddie, and I'm going out first, and just not thinking about anything. It says, okay, I'm just gonna jump. Well, this dude is gonna out jump me anyway.
Right.
And I jump just with no pressure, pretty good, pretty far, and then he jumped shorter.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't matter how good you are. Sometimes it's it's not always working.
Right.
And the other guy gets lucky.
Yeah, well, part of sports, right?
Yeah, but it's like, it's hard to say which position is better. It is really depends on, how you feel about yourself.
Yeah.
But yesterday, I was so stoked for Will.
Right.
Who he went last out of the dock and just killed it.
Right, he did.
In such a great fashion, and that was amazing. So I was like thinking, oh man, this is the right approach. I wish I could do something like that.
Right.
So I was really happy. I was like, okay, well, this is like going like, I'm happy to be last out of the dock, and it's in my hands, and I just basically this is
embraced it, and
within myself I do a good job, and I get it, then I deserve it. If I don't, then I'm just gonna go have a beer and
enjoy
go
the
surf
evening.
next day.
Right. And that's I think obviously that's the best approach. But I'm sure that over the years, you might have not had that approach, like some pressures or some ways of like, maybe even the same position that you were in yesterday, where you jumped very well in the prelims and you had to post a score to make it through the next round. Maybe your approach at the time wasn't, I'm guessing here, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna give it all. You know, like the pressures of making it, the first times that you make in the finals, and then first times you make it on the podium. It's all experience, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say most of my first times were without pressure. So that was more like surprising yourself.
Right.
And it is also like such a fun thing, you know. It's like, oh shit, I can actually do that. I didn't even know.
Right.
But then you kind of get more, you know, it's like, okay, I'm there to, you know, at least to get on the podium.
Yep.
And I had a lot of those where I would jump really good in the first round, like, and then in the finals, like, be like feeling that I can really do it. Maybe tried too hard or wasn't thinking clear enough.
Right.
Was trying to do something I was not supposed to do.
Yep.
Or combination of things. Yeah, sometimes it just didn't work out. But I mean, that is also like a beauty of it. Because if it would be like just super easy. And I mean, sometimes you look at guys and you think they do it, it's just so easy for them. Like,
right.
I don't know, like Freddie, like, I don't know, Ryan lately is just totally dominating jump scene. And you think, oh, it's so easy, you know, like, but it's not. Like, I know, like, really good how much work goes behind all of that, you know, all that confidence, that athleticism, and that, you know, that jumping good, you know, most of the tournaments and winning them. It's like it's not just it's easy. It's actually, I don't know, it's like it's even more pressure. Yeah. Every year, the better you do, the more pressure you put on yourself.
Isn't it funny how it works? I think I can resonate with that experience. So I started skiing in the Pro Tour, and at first you just sort of go, yeah, I mean, I'm nervous because I'm on the dock against the best in the world, but what do I have to lose, right? I'm just going to try my best and see if I make it. Then you make your first final, right? And then you go, well, now I need to make the finals all the time, right? Like, that's what I'm at. And actually, when I did my first final, Arnold Larkin told me that. He said, yeah, well, enjoy today because now you're going to expect to make the finals every tournament you go, right?
Yeah.
And then you get to a point, I guess, where it sounds like you were last night, where you were like, okay, look, I'm going to give it my all. Like, there wasn't any sort of like, I mean, I'm sure there was pressure, but it sounded like you dealt with it better.
Well, I mean, it's a learning process, and you just try to do it better every time. And it's not just about technique and just being jumping good. It is also like, you know, in your head, and you know, you learn, and sometimes you just you know, learn to deal with it better. But it all comes together, you know. If you feel confident, if you've been skiing good, if you're in a good shape, and if you're in a good mood, and, you know, you're prepared, it is easier to, you know, to feel better mentally.
Right.
Because and I think this year I took a bit more, let's say, right approach to this tournament, because last year that was my first time for this tournament. Somehow it was, you know, always like midsummer, and I was in Europe, and it was like just really hard to fly to States for one tournament and fly back.
Right.
It's pretty expensive too, and so it was just, I don't know, there were tournaments in Europe, so for some reason never had a chance. So last year was my first time, and I went straight to the tournament without practice, and I didn't even bother asking what was the cut for the final. I jumped the first jump and I assumed I'm in.
Okay.
And I wasn't. And I cut and pass next two jumps, kind of trying to see, set up and everything.
Better spot for the final.
Better spot for the final. But there was no final.
No way.
Yeah. I was like, really?
Oops.
What an idiot. So this year I was like, okay, I come, have my 3 jumps in practice. Then, I jumped, I cut and pass, adjusted for the spot and for the surroundings, and
Right.
was more focused for the first round, and, pretty happy. Be like winning every round.
Yep.
And kind of keep my jumps, kind of in the good numbers there. So.
Did you ask before you went for the preliminary round what was the cut or no?
Oh yeah. I was like so annoying at the dog. So what is the cut? And they're like, what do you want? Feet or meters? Whatever. What is the cut? And just like started asking on the radio, what is the cut? I was like, yeah, now I better do it.
And you damn did it. I mean, like you went 227 your first jump. That's insane. Like that's huge.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I would say this is my this is a pro tournament PB.
Ah, okay.
Because we all jump pretty far on the record tournaments.
Right.
But it's a bit the difference.
Yeah, isn't it?
It's like few rounds of relaxing jumping, and you can put all the stuff together and, maybe get UPB.
Right.
Or not. And it's like, it's no pressure. You just go enjoy jumping, and usually it's perfect conditions and everything set up right.
Right.
And, pro tournament, I mean, it's more about getting to the next round and just, winning the tournament. It's not even about result. But,
of course.
this time, conditions were really nice. Both felt good. I wish the ramp could be more with the new rule.
Oh, so this didn't have the longer panel?
No, it was like the previous years we had. I mean, the ramp felt good.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know how to jump from that ramp. I just honestly believe that the new rule, a little longer ramp, and you can have it the real 6 foot and long. That helps.
Yeah.
So
just for those listeners that don't know, like there was a rule passed by the International Water Ski Federation about a year and a half ago.
Probably just less than a year ago.
Okay, less than a year ago. And the idea is that essentially you're getting, I believe it's half a meter or a meter. How long is that extension that you can put in?
Well, the longest it's 715.
Okay.
And it was 680.
Okay. That's the length of the ramp.
It's a length on the ramp. I mean, it's metric.
Okay.
And so the idea of it's that we don't have that steep angle.
Right.
Like the ratio is a little nicer, more friendly. We have more ramp because the old rule was like how many years ago? I don't even know. But maybe we're going faster. We have longer skis.
Right.
So it only makes sense that the entry to the ramp where you get the most impact is a little more friendly.
Right.
This is just basically safety.
Okay.
And it's more comfortable, and I think you can, keep your body position and everything better, safely, but also I think that allows you to, if you do it all right, have big jumps, maybe even bigger.
Right.
Yeah, just there. I think that if it's more comfortable, and the idea of it behind it is it's safer for people also to transfer to 6 foot, because there was always a problem with a lot of guys who would who wanna go 6 foot, who wanna go pro tournaments.
Right.
They wanna jump, try to jump with the big guys, but then 5.5. It's nice, feels good, and you can jump really far from 5.5. But still, it is an advantage to have a bigger ramp.
Yeah, of course. And I remember, what was it? Danilo Filichenko went 226, 228 on a 5.5 ramp early this year.
Yeah, I think like 227.
Yeah, that's a big jump,
Well, I mean, like Zach went really far on 5.5. I mean, there was like a lot of guys. I mean, not a lot, but a few guys. Tim Bradstreet went really far on 5.5. But that was also this is a story with Tim when he tried to transfer to 6 foot.
Yeah,
he hurt himself a few times, and unfortunately his career ended.
Right.
And that was like one of the reasons behind it. There's a lot of guys like that who are maybe not even that good, but they want to try 6 foot, and it's a dramatic difference.
It is.
And so this this new, I mean, it's not even like, it's nothing really new. It is the same ramp, same angle. It is basically just more comfortable.
Yeah, and one of the things, just very technically, this is something that you don't need a new ramp for, right? It's just that you have a ramp at your lake, you look up the new rule that you can extend it, and I believe there are also even some kits for sale as according to the ramp you have. But essentially, you have the same ramp. You're just making it a little bit longer off the water.
Yeah, you don't need to build a new ramp or anything, and it, in a way, it's not that difficult as I understand that some people was like, oh, we need to build something new or buy a new ramp. No, I mean, if you can't, you don't even have to do it, because your ramp still fits the rule dimensions. It's just on the like we jumped yesterday. That ramp is in the rule. Just right now, it's
on the short side.
On the short side.
Okay.
That's about it. And you just, if you like jumping, if you're excited about jumping, if you want people to go safer and further, if you want more guys trying 6 foot,
right,
then you extend it.
Yep.
It is just, some people, like with the slalom course, they try to make it nice, right?
Yep.
Some people don't.
Right.
You raise the buoys down, you work on the shore because you want people to do good results at your lake or just enjoy it.
Yep.
The same thing with the ramp. Like if you want to have a good sight, if you want a nice jumping, good ramp, you just add the meter at the bottom.
Yep.
It doesn't even have to be some kind of special surface, because already like your ramp, the surface of your ramp, that's enough. And you just do the bottom,
right,
which stays underwater. You can do it from the plastic.
Right.
I mean, it's not such a big job.
Yeah. Yeah, so. And we have that at our lake, actually. We have 2 ramps, and we have one ramp that everyone predilects, and it was pretty simple to extend it, like maybe 4 hours job, and then the ramp was back in the water. And we don't really have 200 plus foot skiers at my site yet, but the kids that are pushing at 5 or 5.5 said that they could feel the difference right away.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great to hear.
Yeah. Speaking of kids and ramps, I want to talk about your beginnings, right? So how old are you now?
37.
37. And how long have you been skiing for?
As long as I remember myself.
Oh, wow. So you started early.
Yeah, I mean, water skiing, it's a family sport.
Yep.
So I basically grew up in a water ski club.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was a, if you can call it, a professional skier in USSR.
Yep.
She was like multiple times a national champion, and
In what event?
well, her best was jumping.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Bit of genetics.
yeah. I mean, sure. And but she was also competing in snow skiing. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Very prolific athlete, your mom.
Well, I mean, if you think about Russia, it's a short summer
Yep.
and then longer winter. So at that time, I don't think. I mean, and even when I started, there was not so much traveling overseas to train.
Right.
So what would you do? You ski all summer and whatever, a little bit of autumn, a little bit of spring,
Dry suits.
cold, miserable.
Right.
They
Right.
make you trick. Oh, but then, you run to the sauna. That's like the best.
Right.
And sit there and you get warm. And then on the winter, you would snow ski.
Yep.
So there was no going to Florida at that time.
Right. Right. So
And-
got your passion from your mom.
And my dad, he is a water ski coach.
Ah, there you go.
So I mean, he started with cross country and snow ski jumping.
Okay.
And he's sports educated, and then he somehow, maybe because he met my mom, he switched into water skiing, and
Right.
he is a coach, and we had that ski club in Moscow where basically spent all my summer with my parents, and that's all I remember. Water skiing in the summers, and
Snow skiing in the winter.
snow skiing in the winters.
Were you always because I'm guessing you did all three events growing up? Was jump always the one that you were like the best at, the most passionate at? Like, what were the early days?
Jump was the scariest, and looked the coolest, but
Right.
I think I used to be more like a slalom guy.
Yeah.
I never liked tricking
Mm-hmm.
because especially toes
Right.
wasn't my favorite. In the winters we had to go and trick in the swimming pool,
Yeah. Yeah. True.
and I don't know, it was like cold too, and kind of I would rather go on the mountain and play with the snow, but I
Right.
had to go to the pool. So I don't know, maybe it's from there.
Right. Right.
Then I hurt my knee on the cable on toes, like in the swimming pool.
Right.
So then my mom said, okay, well, maybe he doesn't have to trick anymore. So that was easier after that.
Right.
I didn't have to trick that much.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, free events and slalom was probably, that was the strongest event for a long time, and
okay.
I really enjoyed slaloming. I think with slalom, it was like kind of easy in a way that some things were just natural,
Okay.
and I don't know how big was their technique thing there. Is like we were pretty far from the states, and even like I would say, like when I was a kid, I didn't go much out to Europe.
Yeah.
to really like, see how people ski. But I don't know, felt pretty good. In slalom, I pretty quickly like became the best, and that's pretty much how my slalom career stopped, really, because there was no one around to look up, to compare. And living in Moscow, there was just so many other things on your mind, and then there was like wakeboarding and all these things. So I was like, if you think about tricking, it's like, oh, I don't want to go trick, but I want to go, this new thing.
Right.
I want to wakeboard because it's cool.
Right.
And then at that time, like, I switched to snowboarding, and it's all like, all new and cool and fun. And so, yeah, but I think until like really my early 20s, like the jump wasn't really in the picture. I mean, I was jumping good on my home country scene, and I was maybe, I don't know, winning nationals and stuff like that. But by all means, I wasn't, like a jumper.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried. It was pretty scary, but it was also so much fun.
Right.
So I was just, doing it.
Yeah.
I never thought about any kind of a professional career, really. Just kind of skied because it was so much fun and I enjoyed it. And, it was more like when you have such a great group of people, passionate about things, water sports, and, it's a ski club. You live in the city, but you're in the ski club, living in the ski club, like all summer on the water, doing fun things. And then you go all those tournaments with fun people, you party and have fun. And it's just like so amazing. So it's like the professional skiing wasn't really like in the picture.
Yeah.
But all these things, because they were so fun and, awesome to do, I was just so excited doing it.
And so then when did the pro skiing came into the picture, or even before the pro skiing, where did your eyes open and you became hungry, right? Because you said I was dominating the scene at home. Sound like slalom, that happened even sooner than jump. Yeah. But then what was the event or the situation that made you think, wow, there's way more than what I'm capable of doing now, and I want it?
Well, I think I was I finished my school in Moscow, and what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to go get a job,
right?
So the big city demands careers, and it is a lot about money and what people kind of society tells you what you're supposed to do, and puts a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, of course it does.
How you're supposed to live your life.
Right.
And so I had a job, and it was like I actually didn't have to go to the office every day.
Okay.
It was a pretty good deal for me. I could work from home, like with the computer, and I could have my time and do whatever I want. Skiing wise, I was still like in school as well.
Yeah.
But with all of that, I wasn't skiing that much, and at that time we were not going to ski to Florida, which is, if we all know, it's basically a capital of water skiing.
Yeah, a bit of the mecca of water skiing. Yeah,
exactly. And we used to go to Emirates to practice.
No way.
Yeah.
I used to go there too.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Rasselheim.
Rasa Kaiman, yeah.
You know, salty water, and it was more like a vacationing.
Yeah. With that mall at the end of the channel.
Yeah, then you live in the little hotel on the beach, and you go ski. I mean, it's amazing, but it's great time, and you like with all your team and friends from Russia or Belarus or Ukraine, and but it's all your kind of friends who you grew up skiing with, and there is no one really to look up or even, compare.
Right.
So it was, skiing vacationing thing.
Right.
And so kind of I went to a few like Europeans, under 17, under 21.
Right.
Didn't really have much of a success there.
Okay.
So in a way it didn't give me like a push. Oh, I gotta be better. I was like, well, maybe competing is not even my thing.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I mean, I don't think like I was really thinking so hard about it, like, because I was just more like enjoyed traveling in other countries more than, I was maybe not happy about my performance, but I don't know. For me, that was kind of easy. Always pretty easy to switch on the positive side. So I was like, wow, but I am in some new country. I'm just great food and, good times.
That's so funny. Like I interviewed Nick Parsons last week, and he had exactly the same approach. Still does. And granted, we're talking about a different scenario because he was, he's American, grew up in Utah, and then, found out about water skiing being an international sport, which blew his mind, and then, obviously enjoyed success like you've been enjoying. But he also said, like always was easy to, be in Italy or UK or France and switch mindset. Okay, didn't ski as well, but let's see what I am. Let's see what I actually am physically,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't even get to see things like that. They don't get to travel, and we're so fortunate to be able to see the world and to experience new places, meet people, cultures, and everything. And if you're not taking advantage of that, it's a bit silly.
Right.
I honestly, it's like I was always surprised, even later when I started traveling more for pro tournaments, some of the skiers, they would not even go sightseeing or, and I don't know. I always had a different, maybe not exactly like before the tournament, but I would always try to maybe stay a little longer for a couple of days, and or if I didn't have an opportunity to stay longer, still try to do things, because I mean, when else?
Right.
It's such an amazing thing to see things. And I mean, when water skiing becomes your job, sure you should approach it different.
Yep. Commitment and all that.
Yeah, but it's all about the balance, like if it's just all about commitment and I mean, I don't know, like it is a fine balance for everyone, and we're all different, so we all need to find that balance for ourselves, which works the best. For some people, maybe it works really good to be just focused on the task, and they go do it and go back home, and and after that they go for a little vacation, or I don't know. A lot of skiers maybe don't go vacation.
Right. Yeah.
No. But what if you do bad? Then basically all your trip is negative.
Yeah. Airport, hotel, lake, hotel, airport.
Then you're pissed. You're like you spent so much money, you didn't get shit, and it's like, but you still, from my perspective, you still have to have that joy and be adventurous. And it's like in life, it's not always everything is perfect and up to your expectations or whatever plans you build. You gotta adjust, adapt, and make the most out of it.
Yeah. So let me tease this out, because you said dominating the scene, went to a few Europeans, youth under 21, maybe not as dominating there as you were at home.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. And then then you had and by the way, we didn't say this, but you studied for quite a while and got degrees. What was your field, by the way?
It's IT engineering.
Okay. And then you got a job that you could somewhat juggle with skiing, right?
Yeah, skiing, and at that time I started competing snowboarding as well. And it was always like snow skiing. I snow skied all my life, but then I really wanted to go powder. Yeah. And there was like those narrow skis, they didn't go powder so well, and I was like kind of annoyed of going through the course. Right. So then this snowboard, I actually tried a monoski first, that snow ski, which is like a snowboard, but you have bindings.
The slalom snowboard. Yeah.
No. It's a mono snow ski.
Never heard of this.
It's like the old school stuff.
Okay.
Really old school. So it's like basically as wide as snowboard, but it's like one big snow ski, and you have bindings next to each other, like parallel. Okay. So you're more like, like old school snow skiing when your legs are so narrow, like they almost together.
Wow.
So I tried that thing once and like some tournament, went for snow skiing, and what I could feel, it's like the flotation of that thing in the powder.
Okay.
It was amazing. This thing was stupid. Totally it's just but that feeling of floating, it was so amazing, and I couldn't get it on my regular skis. Yeah. So I was like, what can I do? And there's snowboard, and that's how I started snowboarding, got in just free riding and everything, and then there's also like a tight community, especially when the sport starts, and then some of my friends, they were asked if I want to go compete snowboard cross. Okay. So I tried that, and somehow I was, for just trying it, I got into the tournament, and I was in the final with the guys from national team. Okay. And then my friend who was like coach in Team Moscow, he's like, "Oh, dude, do you want to be in the team?" I was like, "Sure." So it's like, what is it? Free equipment? He's like, "Yes." Maybe some trips to the mountains? Yes. I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm in. Sign me up." Free training, lift ticket. Like, for sure.
Of course. Yeah, I'm down for that.
I'm down for that. And I started doing snowboard cross, and that's like snowboard racing as well. Okay. And I went for like a few nationals, and that was so much fun. And snowboarding being an Olympic sport, or becoming at that time an Olympic sport, it was kind of a bit different scene and attention to it. I was not really used to that, right? Being a water skier, right? More like, it was like water skiing was just always there. It was, just fun. But in snowboarding, I approached it the same way. It was just fun. It was, for me, it was fun. And I was like, kind of looked at other guys like at nationals who were like really like, doing it. Yeah. I was like, oh man, they're not having fun. Because it's like for them there was already like hard work and a way to get out of maybe a small town on the north of Russia.
Right.
They know exactly what they wanted it to do.
Yeah.
And fortunately I never, felt that way that I need to, kind of
Get out of my small hometown.
yeah, like this sport is my ticket somewhere.
Yeah.
That was never there, and it was always more like a really fun and amazing thing to do, which you don't really appreciate as a kid.
Yeah.
And then only later on you think about it, and it's like, oh wow, it's like how many thanks you have to say to your family,
Right.
to your parents, that they actually somehow they gave you that opportunity to try all those amazing things, and yeah, that's just priceless.
Yeah, no, you don't get it as a kid, do you?
Yeah, no, you just spoiled bastards trying to, and then your dad yells at you, it's like, go trick or something.
No more toes, Dad. No more toes.
Yeah, you don't really want to do it, and you secretly sneak out with your friends to go wakeboarding, and it's banned for you because so many skiers hurt themselves.
Right.
And then it's
Right.
like, then in the club there is a rule: you don't go wakeboarding anymore.
Damn.
But then you hide in the boat and you go with your friends, to
Anyway.
anywhere, and then have fun. And wake skate was actually the thing too.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That was hard for a while.
But yeah, so that was the time where I was like, actually, started competing snowboarding. There was something new, really exciting thing, and I got in 2 years I got 6th and 7th at nationals in snowboard cross, which was like, I mean, for me that was really good, and considering that I never actually really trained for that.
Right. Yeah, you
Like
stumbled upon it almost.
Like the other guys, yeah, but all that, background of being an athlete and, snow skiing all my life, and then learning snowboard basically on your own, but, I guess maybe wakeboarding.
Yeah, maybe there was some of that, yeah.
Everything all together, yeah, I was... So water skiing was kind of fading. It's like I didn't really have success there, or I mean, I enjoyed it, but there wasn't much of a pro career. And just for you to understand, like being from Russia,
Yeah.
we never had a male skier who was actually really, or I don't know, any good on the world scene.
Uh-huh.
We had a history of having like a great women skiers.
Okay.
As Natalia Romantsova, she was a world trick record holder, and she won worlds.
Yeah.
And inaugural. And it was Elena Milakova,
of course,
who, she dominated jumping. It's like, but those are girls, and it's kind of hard to, to like look at their success and assume that you can do the same. Especially that Helena, she moved and she trained and lived not in Russia, and had her success there.
Right.
But living and being in Russia, so it was like more like a fairy tale.
Right.
And Natalia, her success was back in the days in the Soviet Union.
Right.
So when I was growing up, I was really like people around, especially male skiers, or I mean, even in the history of like Russia, there were no male really strong
Yeah.
jumpers or anyone. So it was really hard to
Almost
you know,
find
even
inspiration.
it's like it was just kind of not on the table.
Okay.
You just didn't think about it.
Okay.
It's not like that you couldn't, but it was just like, you know, for example, you look at Ryan Dodd, who could always look up to Jared
Right.
and think, okay, well, there's a Canadian dude, best in the world, and I
Yeah.
can do that too,
Yeah.
right? Or I don't know, in States, it's pretty easy to look up to, I don't know, Freddie and see, okay, well, I can do like him and be the best.
Right.
Like for me, it was never that person. All those guys, they were just somewhere more in like a magazines, and
Right.
it's like I've never seen them in the real life. I didn't know them.
Right.
It's like fairy tale.
Yeah. No, I get it.
So being all that, I was like, okay, water skiing. So it's like not water skiing much for almost like a year, but then I was like, you know, almost thinking like maybe I go to the snow. But I was like realizing that what the life I had,
Yeah.
it was so much fun,
Yep.
and that I'm not ready to stop doing that.
Because that also sounded like it coincided with you getting a job, right? Like
Yeah.
those things happen around the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Water skiing fading, snowboarding picking up, you having a job that luckily sounded like it allowed you a bit of like freedom of place, but still was a job.
Yeah,
right?
but you more like switching into the city life where it becomes more about like, you know, thinking about career and making money, and then you spend money on the weekends, and
Right.
like that's what, you know, they want you to do.
Right. Right.
Make more, spend more, and but then there's no freedom, there's no life in my opinion, especially like I was fortunate to have all those things, like doing sports, traveling, great, people around, having a lot of fun. And then I realized that people actually try to work all year and have 2 weeks of doing this.
That's very true.
And then it's like, what's the point? It's like, I was doing all of that, and now I'm supposed to work really hard to be able to do all of that for 2 weeks. So
Hey, just taking a little break here. Good job on making it midway through our chat. One of the things I wanted to do, and we didn't get a chance to do with Igor, is to talk about his website. So go and check it out, Igor-Morozov.com. You can see where he's hanging out normally and keep up with everything that he's doing. You'll find social media link over there. And especially you'll find a link to the in-flight movie that he did with Zach Warden, Scott Ellis, and Ryan Dodd. And you get to see a little bit of what it is about this life of jumping and flying that he decided not to give up and to embrace fully. So go check out his website, his movie, and his social media. He's a fun guy to follow on social media, that's for sure. But sorry for the break. Back to the interview.
Right.
even my job was pretty flexible, but I was like, no. So what do? I'm gotta give it a chance. Maybe go train to United States for the first time.
Yeah.
Actually see how people, ski on the other side of a pond.
Right.
And I think there was, I believe there was 2005.
Okay.
And that's it was not my first time in States.
Okay.
I went to Worlds in Florida in
03.
3.
Yeah, 3.
But I mean, I had no business being there. But it was a free trip to States. I mean,
why not?
Why
Free trip to
not?
Florida.
The trip to Florida, sightseeing, everything, Gatorland, beach. Finally, I went to the real. I thought it was a real ocean, because I always like dreamed of surfing. And you know, being in Moscow, it's always like so far from the ocean. You get there's no chance.
Yeah.
Unless you do a specific surf trip somewhere.
Right.
So then it was like, oh, I'm gonna go Cocoa Beach or try. I saw that thing. It's so amazing. Catch waves, but there's no catching waves there.
Right.
And I didn't know how to do it, but I wanted to do it. But I mean, that was great trip, and
that was your first Worlds.
Well, I think my first Worlds were even like much early. I think it was in Milan in
99.
99. Of course, there was no business for me there.
Right.
Even more, but we had a great trip from Moscow. We drove on the car through the Europe.
Yeah.
And stopped like on the way in the different places, and for me that was just more about like, again, travel and adventure.
Yep.
Didn't ski for a week, sitting in the car, sightseeing. Came there, crash jumping. Oh no, first I watched there's some Japanese dude with hard shell boots eating shit. Jumping and just exploding off the ramp. All his skis are flying apart, and there's no practice, and I'm there like all like white in my face. It's like I'm supposed to. So
welcome to Worlds kind
welcome
of thing.
to Worlds. Oh shit. It's like went upside down myself, and I was like, okay, well, but I'm in Italy, it's fun here, you know. It's so yeah, good times. So yeah, but this time, you know, I came to Florida actually for my own money.
Right.
And to practice.
Yeah.
Or more like give it a shot of actually seeing what water skiing is
really about, kind of.
More about.
I
mean, I don't say it's really about, because actually maybe what I had all my life, there was what water skiing was really about.
Okay.
And I want to keep it that way, because all that fun and enjoyment of this whole thing, this is all it's really about.
Very well said.
But I wanted to I was hopeful to open the other side of skiing for myself, see if there is the competitor side for me.
Yeah.
And I went there and somehow ended up in Houston.
Okay.
At M2 Sports with Daniel McCormick, Jennifer Kaiser, and a bunch of like a great group of European, Scandinavian skiers there. Yeah. And a few Americans. And I mean, it was so fun. Right. It just hooked me up instantly. It's like it opened the other side of water skiing in a way that, here you can ski all year round. There's so many like fun, like-minded people who just having fun on the water, and you can actually not just ski and have fun, but there's a possibility of doing better, improving because the conditions are better. I mean, boat is better, and there are people around you who are better than you. And you can ski and look at them and prove and try, and then still go always play after.
Yeah.
And
That's
I was-
interesting, 'cause-
I was hooked.
Yeah, it's a very big jump from what you had in Russia. Like, so in Russia, you said pretty quickly I was like kind of the top dog. I was going to tournaments and I knew that like I had no business of being there, as you said. But now all of a sudden you're surrounded by people that might be better than you. Certainly they're motivated.
They were definitely more motivated than me. I was like,
okay.
oh wow, but that was good to see. It's like my motivation was a different kind of motivation, more like doing it because I loved it and it was fun.
Yeah.
But I was never really that motivation. I was fortunate to be winning in Russia, and it felt really good
Yeah.
to be best in Russia, but it didn't feel so good suck at Europeans.
Yeah.
So
Right, of course.
I was like, how do I get there? I didn't know.
Right.
And again, it's like there is no role model or anyone to look up.
Yeah.
So it's like I wasn't really sure how to get there. So I was like, well, I mean, I don't know, but yeah, well, let's go. Maybe try and see if there are opportunities to get better, and maybe, I don't know,
Go from there.
keep the, fun, good times going.
Yeah.
Before, or I have to go back and sit in the office or something.
Yeah.
It's
Good.
like,
To work the whole year for 2 weeks of that, right?
yes, it's like, oh man, it's like no brainer. You gotta give it a try.
Yeah.
At least the fair, full-on try,
Yeah.
and even a little bit more.
Right. And so you get there 2005. How far were you jumping? Like, give us a sense of your level at the time when you got to M2.
I never jumped 60 meters.
Okay.
I was a 50 plus meter jumper.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe, what was it, 57? I don't even remember, actually.
Interesting.
It's like, yeah. Well, I mean, again, like I was more like a slalom guy at that time.
Okay.
I was, I mean, I think once I ran 10.75 in practice, and I
damn.
was like, I was like, ran 2 on 10.25, and I was like, I put a crown on myself,
Right.
and I think since that slalom was really declining. After that practice run, I was like, I'm that good, whatever. But I suck on the tournaments, but who cares?
Right. Wow.
I still best in my pond.
Well, but I mean, I've watched you slalom through the years. You're a good slalomer. I mean, we all know that. So yeah, like in the 50s, high 50s. So 185, 190. You're M2. How long did you stay at M2 for?
Well, I was going there for at least next 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that was interesting story about the choice, because I didn't know where to go.
Okay.
I didn't know where I should go.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'll do research. And I looked, and their website looked the best. And me, I guess, being kind of IT, I assumed that they're just more professional than others.
Yeah.
And it just looked better. And then the other thing, it was in Houston, in the big city. So for me, it was just, okay, well, at least it's going to be more fun to be in the big city,
yeah,
rather than going to some Floridian village in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
I didn't know what I'm going to do there. I mean,
Right.
I didn't know anyone. I was like, or at least here, I hope.
Easy to find people, very similar to home, like in a big city.
Yeah. So there was like, and then it was crazy that that group of people there was like so amazing.
Right.
It's like again, it's like Daniel and Jennifer, and they're so fun, and they had like a big wakeboard scene there as well. And
True.
I liked wakeboard, but I couldn't ride much. But the whole feel of it was like I really liked it. Like more snowboarding, and so that was always fun. We could go ride and wake surf and wake skate and do all those things. Go on the trips on other lakes for like wakeboard events as well.
Right.
There was more party too. And
Yeah, well, of course.
yeah, so those things, they just like hooked me up, and all those my Scandinavian friends, like there was like Norwegians, Danish, Swedish people.
Yeah.
In a way, the maybe like mentalities pretty close to like I don't know, to me at least, being from Russia.
Yeah.
I mean, we have some similarities, at least with the shitty weather.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, dude.
And cold.
Sun is out. Let's go ski.
Yeah. So yeah, that was great, and I was going there for like next 5 years, and then I actually moved to Denmark.
Yeah.
for about 3 years, and then it was I guess it was about time to actually start practicing in Florida, because I kind of went to the level where I needed those guys I was competing against to be next to me.
I see. So in those 5 years at M2, and then you moved to Denmark, like you had an improvement in your jumping, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah. And what were some of the keys for you? Because obviously we have a lot of people listening up, and people sending me questions about jumping as well, which I found it was awesome. I hadn't had a jumper yet on the podcast. This is the 4th episode, and I had some interesting questions about jump. What were some of your breakthrough moments? And I'm not necessarily talking about distance, like some discoveries that you made, or something that went, okay, there's something there, I need to pursue it. You see what I mean? Like, what were some of the breakthroughs?
Well, I mean, it's it's actually like basic things. A proper training.
Okay.
Proper equipment.
Yep.
The right setup. And, take the training from the basics up, from just learn to ride your skis better.
Yeah.
Then, basically realizing that jump is not that dangerous as I used to think.
Yeah.
That I can actually be safe doing the right things and jump far. And I don't have to risk every jump thinking what can go wrong. I mean, things can always go wrong, especially with jumping. But again, like just thinking how I trained before, it was, ice melted. Yeah. And then we start trying to ski as much as possible, because we have 5 months of skiing basically.
Right.
Back in Russia, in Moscow, and then you would just ski, slalom, trick, then jump, and it was more like you tried to get ready in like few months for the tournaments you have.
Right.
And it's not so much. I mean, of course, we done all we could with
what you had,
what we had. But it was not always like that thoughtful training where you can take step by step and, you know, improve with your technique, and that learn how to ride your skis better and everything, and learn more things before you go and commit more jumping.
Right.
And that makes things easier, safer, and that also, you know, you become more confident.
Yeah.
Then, you know, you learn faster.
Yeah.
And you actually also have to start thinking for yourself, because the style of coaching back in Russia was more like coach always right. He tells you what to do, you just do it.
Yeah.
This is, I don't know, maybe also something to be with that. My dad was my coach, so you can't really argue with the dad.
Yeah.
Or you're not supposed to.
Well, and even if you do, you're going to dinner afterwards. So,
yeah.
You know.
So you just do things, and but being there on your own.
Yeah.
Well, you learn to think for yourself, and I think I was fortunate that Daniel was there at the time coaching a lot, at least that first year.
Yeah.
I came there. He was actually a lot in the boat, Daniel McCormick.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of conversations about skiing, actually more probably out of the boat.
Right.
And maybe he was like also interested from a dude from Russia. You know, with the long hair and
long hair, has a job now. He kind of doesn't want to do it
no,
anymore.
he quit his job.
No, you.
Yeah. No,
you had quit your job. Yeah.
I had to quit my job.
Right. So you quit your job to be there to jump in Houston. Yeah. I'm sure he was entertained.
I didn't know exactly what I was doing there when I first came there.
Right.
But I really enjoyed it, but he could see that I was a good skier.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like, oh, wow. I mean, same thing as you said, sometimes like people on stage, they don't know about maybe other water ski scenes around the world.
True.
Especially if you don't get out of your pond.
Right.
No one will ever knew about you.
Yep.
So, he's like, oh, dude, you're actually pretty good. So, I mean, after I came there for like a couple of weeks of training, and
right.
They told me, dude, you gotta stay. So I was like, I changed my ticket and I stayed, and that was really, really good to be talking and learning to take things from the basics up, build it up technically, start thinking more for yourself, because then, you know, it's not when you're in a ski school and then you becoming sort of a ski school bum.
Yeah.
There's not always a coach for you in the boat, and, you know, people busy in the shop doing that. You ski on your own, and there's no more dad. Yeah. Always, like at home, it's easier. You know, everything is set up for you, kind of. You just please come ski.
Right.
Here you have to find a time to ski, but then it also, you know, you learn. You learn to think for yourself, and you try to every set maybe try something new and more, and so thinking for yourself, that's definitely thinking more. And taking things from basics up, that was definitely a breakthrough for jump for me. That I realized that I can understand the process so much more. I can understand what's going on. And if it didn't go right, I know what I should do to make it better.
You were able to analyze it better, but you had to bring it back to the basics first in order for you to be able to do it.
I had to. I finally had time and good conditions and everything to just ride my skis. And I honestly, I never done that much because it was more about you gotta time is limited, get to jumping.
Right.
Yeah, and so going back to basics, riding my skis was a big key. Start analyzing things and think more and get creative in your head and to understand, because there are some things people tell you to do, but it's all different things work for different people. And from my perspective as a coach, you gotta find the way to help an athlete to make things work for him.
Yeah.
You can't just tell him what works for you. We gotta just be on the same level, talking about how it should feel and what he thinks can he do to make it work or feel that way.
Right.
It's like a joint effort on
Fully agree.
finding a sweet spot for every athlete, because we're also different as well. Like, I'm tall, I'm more like a slalomer, I'm not even supposed to jump.
Right.
And look at Freddie, he's like small, light, has frog legs, and just can kick the ramp. Or look at Ryan, he is like a build like an ox, and
he's huge,
strong, compact, low center of gravity, and so much power.
Right.
I mean, we can't possibly jump the same way.
Right.
Same as slaloming, there's a tall guys and there's a short guys.
Yeah.
There are powerful guys, there are light guys. So even there's always a similarity everywhere. There's, we're also unique, especially you go into a high level.
Yeah.
You gotta find and explore and exploit your stronger sides.
Yeah.
Because, there is always something which is not built perfect for whatever you do, but you also have something which other people don't, and maybe that will make you better or better than them.
Right.
And if you can use it. So for me also, with my being more like a slalomer build, I had to adjust to find the way how I can use that, being tall or have long legs. I can, if I get to the ramp good, I can kick pretty good, but the getting to the ramp, that's another thing. It's much harder for me to hold the position, be strong against the boat, just with center of gravity being higher. In general, just physics. So that pushes you to explore and go deeper in technique and do it better, do it right, do the way it works for you to be able to get to the ramp in the form you want. And that's what I was learning at that time, that it's like all those differences and nuances, and the same in slalom thing, and in tricking too. It's all the same. It's not just one thing.
And I think it's the same in other sports, right? You watch the top 10 or top 50 tennis players in the world, and there are some similar biomechanics, but they all have different ways of doing certain things. Or in slalom, like if you watch, there's maybe like 35 guys in the world that can run 39 off or 10.75, not doing it all the same way whatsoever, right? And I think you make a great point. I agree. The best coaches are the ones that can adapt to the athlete they have in front of them. Like, they give them what they consider to be strong fundamentals, but then it comes to a certain point where the athlete and the coach have to, as you said, like, it's a joint venture and trying to figure out what works for the athlete, right?
Yeah. Just on a side note, you gotta have an athlete who actually wants to think, because some people don't.
Very good point.
You gotta, especially when they're younger too, it's like, so you gotta kind of realize what the needs of your athlete. Sometimes, for better or worse, you need to tell them exactly what to do.
Yep.
They're gonna do it, succeed, and they're happy. You know, maybe
Right.
they're not ready to go into thinking so much.
Yeah.
So it is also kind of, but for me, being already, you know, kind of not a kid anymore,
Right.
not a teenager, I think that was about time to start thinking more and
Yeah. Figure it out on your own.
about what I do, what I was supposed to do. So pretty quickly there, I was told, "Hey, dude, no more coaching for you. You go in the boat and you coach others."
Right.
That was pretty fun. But that also what really helped me.
Okay.
The more I started sitting in the boat and thinking about others, their skiing, really made a big impact of what I was thinking about my own skiing.
Interesting.
Yeah, because same again, like when I was a kid in Russia, I was not supposed to, or I didn't want to sit in the boat for other people.
Yeah.
I mean, there were coaches, drivers who were in the boat, and you're done with your set, and then you run and try to do something, you know, what
Right.
teenagers do.
Right. Play around, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. And there's like when I was sitting and actually coaching other good athletes,
Yeah.
or sometimes not, but everything, you know, you can make everything pretty much helpful and useful for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's a great experience. And yeah, I would recommend other people actually
That's
start
an interesting
thinking more.
one. Yeah, that's an interesting one because, for instance, I know of some coaches out there who don't want athletes to help each other out of fear that they may get bad habits.
I think they do it out of fear that there'll be no need for them anymore.
Very good point.
Because at some point, a lot of of the top athletes, they don't even they don't have a coach in the the meaning of someone who is with them in the boat all the time.
Yeah.
Coaching. They have more ski partners.
Yeah.
And a lot of time it's their competitor.
Yeah.
And friend, and or it's your family member,
Right.
who is also in water skiing. It's quite often is a competitor.
Yep.
And so you're more sharing and thinking and brainstorming about things, and sometimes it's your old coach you can talk to, or it's a ski maker you can talk to and get ideas, or
Yeah.
you talk to your buddies who you jump in with, and you think in yourself, and that's how you find new ways to improve where you are on a top level.
Yeah.
So about the coaches, I think some of the coaches might think that, if they're gonna talk to each other, what I'm gonna do, right? I'm here.
Right.
It's like they're supposed to pay me. But in a way, I think that's probably some insecure coaches. Maybe they're not so confident in that they're helpful. Maybe if they know their worth, they wouldn't be worried about it so much.
Right.
And I mean, if you think that your athlete will pick up a bad habit from other athletes, just talk to him about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm obviously not claiming that all the coaches are like that, but I have heard of some
no,
coaches.
I had some troubles with other people, not troubles, but just situations. Not really, they act different.
Yeah.
Some people didn't like that I coached someone because they did better, and then they felt that I was taking their place.
Wow.
And so people different, and coaches are different too, and And I mean, the good coach is a big luck to have someone, you know, next to you. But every athlete also should have his own head.
Yeah.
And yeah, as we just said, it's you know, it's together. You
Right.
can make it better. You can make it work on your own. Maybe too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's different ways.
And let's try to jumpstart that, because obviously you said it, like water skiing is oftentimes a family sport, right? And maybe the person, like the parents say, they water ski, but they might not have been competitive, and their kid all of a sudden wants to be competitive into skiing. So there might be a lack of knowledge there. And I think it's particularly relevant for jumping, because a lot of parents are scared that their kids might get hurt, that they may get into this, dangerous sport, and they might crash. And you said something before, you realized how jumping could be much safer, right, than what you used to think. So I'd be interested to know if you had like maybe, 2 or 3 words of advice or words of wisdom to anyone. Doesn't have to be kid, could be someone in their 20s or 30s that decides that they want to jump. What do you think makes it safer, and what do you think allows people to jump for a long time?
Well, I mean, as I said, start with riding your skis.
Okay.
Do drills. Ride a slalom course.
Okay.
And, it's like with everything. You don't take a mountain bike down the mountain before you can ride a trail, right?
Right.
So it is the same thing. You can just strap your jumpers on and go kick it, jump.
Right.
You got to learn how to ski on your jumpers. You got to learn how to cut, how to feel them. And, of course, you got to make sure the equipment is right.
Yeah.
This is a big key.
Okay.
Like sometimes you start with just, whatever I have. But, yes, if you can, get a better equipment. Because old wooden heavy skis with old, broken rubber binding, it's not helpful.
Right.
And it's dangerous.
Yep.
It's actually where people get hurt because the bindings are not tight enough. The skis are too heavy, and then they're not ready maybe physically.
Right.
And then they just hurt himself going over the ramp.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the good, if you have, an opportunity, go to a professional.
Yeah.
And get some, guidelines on what to do. And then just come back to that person if you like it. I mean, it is better to be a good jumper because, that's people with the most experience.
Right.
And then just once in a while, come back to check on your progress and get like the guidelines what to do.
Yeah.
And it'll be easier to get a better equipment, to learn how to ride jumpers, and then going over the ramp. Most likely the better thing to go to someone, the professional who can help you to get over the ramp first, or get you like the right advice how to do it.
Yeah.
And then you can continue, of course, give you the right speed, right ramp for you, and everything, because it is important. I mean, if your first experience of jumping it's like crashing in pain, it's really hard to keep doing this.
Right. Of course.
So, but if it's fairly easy, you confident you can ride your skis and the speed is right, the ramp is right. I mean, it's not that difficult to ride over the ramp. That becomes fun.
Right.
And excitement, and then you want to do more. Because let me tell you, I love slalom. It's amazing. But there's nothing like jumping.
I know.
It's a different beast.
It is, and I miss it a ton, honestly. Like, I always say like, so I stopped jumping in 2011, but I've taken, bought a skis from friends and took a few pokes and obviously going way shorter than I used to go. But that feeling when you leave the ramp and you've done everything somewhat correctly and you get a bit of a lift from the boat that helps you like float in the air, there's nothing like it. I don't care. Like, it doesn't have to be in anything super far, like 35 meters, 40 meters. But you do it and you feel the lift. There's nothing like there's nothing like that in water skiing or any of the sports that I tried, at least.
Yeah, that's amazing thing, feeling of that acceleration, like G-forces, like boosting you up in the air, like pull, flight, everything is like all those, emotions and everything. And then also like emptiness, because it's like you flying there and there is nothing in the world bothers you anymore. It's like that moment of, I don't know, being enlightened in a way.
Wow.
You don't think about anything else. Like if you think about it afterwards, when you fly in there, like after, all these emotions, being scared, excited, all this adrenaline, you kick the jump, and if you somewhat did everything good and you get a lift and you're there, and it's just a few seconds, but then it's also like eternity in a way.
yeah, it's interesting. This is flow, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We do know that flow has that weird time distortion to it, to where few seconds well lived, clearly focused, but with that feeling of emptiness, because it's easy to focus in flow, then those seconds become eternity, right? Or in different sports, the long, like, Ironmans and all of that, they feel like they go by quickly. And I think it's like one of the best feelings one can ever have,
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to hear your opinion on is progression, right? So it seems to me that one of the reasons why people crash, or why early jumpers might not do it as safely as they should, is that they sort of jump steps, right? Would you agree with that?
Jump steps.
So, like they may go into a 3/4 before they're doing singles appropriately.
Oh, yeah.
Or,
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, that was my point. You got to learn to ride your skis first before you go in over the ramp.
Yeah.
And have your equipment, proper, dialed up. Then you go with the right speed on the right height.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you start with a single jump. You or maybe just ride over the ramp.
Right.
Then single. Then little 3/4.
Yeah.
And bigger 3/4. And then you go to doubles. I mean, of course, that would be the way to do it.
Right. So yeah, I guess the message out there for those parents, at least, who might be getting their kid that is like, hey, I want to jump, and they have that scare, because they might have seen a crash, or they might have, like seen the ramp. Probably like make sure someone good is following you, and be good on your skis before you even hit the ramp, and then take things step by step.
Oh yeah, I mean, for jumping, I don't know, for my personal experience, I don't think I was really also ready to, maybe as a teenager, to jump.
Yeah.
Because maybe I wasn't in that state to, so like I got a little older, I got more comfortable with it. And I don't think you need to push kids to really jump too early.
Yeah.
Because it is also, you have to be physically ready.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you shouldn't jump if kid wants, but it's not like, some kids are bigger than the other one, different. They look older, stronger, or they have more ability to risk than the other kids. And they can jump further as a juniors, but in the end, really nothing matters until you become a open skier or professional. I mean, you can start later jumping far and then jump really far.
Yeah.
And some kids, they jump juniors really good and then
Disappear.
they hurt themselves, or they don't want to do it anymore, or I don't know. It's like the scenario is really different. But I think out of the all three events, like jumping should be like less pushy, more like if you want to do it, you do it, have fun, and then just keep the interest there.
Okay.
And then they will grow up with that interest, and they will like to do it, and they will like see how cool that is, and they want to do it. And you know, the older they get, the more they can think and analyze and do actually things better. And then it becomes safer for them to jump, and then they can build the confidence and they want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and then they want to switch to 6-foot ramp and jump really far.
Right.
So,
Right. I like that advice. Really, like no push. Hopefully they grow the interest themselves, and hopefully comes at a time where they can start thinking about their own skiing, right? And I think the interest
you gotta want it.
Yeah.
You know, there should be something that in you like more clicking. It's not like something your dad told you to do.
Right.
It's something that, okay, now I actually want to do it. And that's really helpful.
Yeah, it does. And I think the two go together, right? Maybe you want to do it, you're more willing to think about it yourself, which makes you want to do it. I mean, at least I think in slalom, and I think in any sport really, when you make those little discoveries, right? You go, oh, wow, that works for me. Or, wow, if I do that more often, I get further. Or, you know, like I think those also make you want to go out and jump.
Yeah. I mean, whatever works for you
Keep
works.
doing that.
Yeah,
Right.
good. Use it.
Yeah. Sweet. And, you know, like I think you said it. Hopefully get to a point where you're motivated enough and you put a 6-foot ramp in front of yourself, or 5.5 if you're a woman, you know, so like the limit of the sport. So let's talk about the sport for a second. What do you think is the state of jumping right now? Because obviously you had that journey to where you said, okay, now I really want to do this, and we're here with you as one of the very best jumpers in the world. Where is jumping at this stage in terms of popularity, in terms of tournaments? Where is jumping right now?
Well, it's a good question. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know, but this year might not be the best year for jumping, as the amount of tournaments are not really big.
Yeah.
We used to have better years with more tournaments. And it was a kind of joint effort from more of our top jumpers trying to influence and organize tournaments. And we had quite a lot of new tournaments because of that.
Right.
Pretty much every top jumper was able somehow influence or organize a tournament, because that was if not us, then
and who's gonna do it?
Who is gonna do it? Especially that we kind of stopped with World Cups.
Yeah.
And we had the couple of years quite a lot of tournaments. I just think we relaxed too much.
Okay.
And maybe we just need to try a little better again. And because jumping I mean, this is the easiest thing and most exciting thing to watch.
For sure.
This is the best show, and it should be, easier to even sell,
Right.
rather than any other water ski event. I don't know, like there are a few tournaments which didn't happen this year, but hopefully they're gonna come back next year. And I mean, in jumping, there's like variety of, you can do day jumps, you can do night jumps. So I think that helps for, even new places to actually think what they want to do. They want to do a night show, or they do like a day jumping, but potentially maybe a much bigger jumps,
Right.
different formats. We open to that.
Yep.
It's no problem. But with jumping, it's also sometimes like a safety issue.
Okay.
You don't really want to go to a site which is, not really good. Could be big open body of water or something like that, and that's where, when people push and go to the limits, which in jumping, you can get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, when I started, the World Cups were like the huge thing.
Right.
And I hope with their, I don't know, some changes in IWSF and the new people in the governing body, that they can bring the World Cups back. I think there was a really good franchise.
Yeah.
They just, hopefully they can do it better and somewhat smarter
Okay.
than they used to do it before, because we got pushed into the corner jumping in the very bad conditions.
Yeah.
And I think organizers and athletes were not happy about that combination. You want to perform, you're an athlete. It's like you don't do Formula 1 on a gravel road.
Exactly.
It's like you can't like even showcase your sport in a proper way.
Yeah.
And that was a shame of it. Like, you go to those amazing places, but the place you get to ski, you can't even show what you can do. And it's like there's no win-win there.
Yeah.
And there's more chances to get hurt. So, but if you do it smarter, pick the better places, or get in the better terms with organizers and stuff, I mean, hopefully World Cups will come back in the better places where we can really showcase what we can do the best in the world. And also really hope that we can have more events next year. And I think jumping is amazing. And yeah, if even once you come watch it, I mean, it's pretty compact, it's fast, it takes just an hour to get the full show. And you can go out for drinks after. You still have time. You don't have to spend all day on the lake.
And the ones that are watching generally are having some drinks themselves, right? Particularly if it's a night night tournament.
I mean, it's like everyone show up for jump finals.
Oh, everyone.
Yeah, everyone. Even if you're, I don't know. I mean, nothing against tricking, but
no.
Even you're a tricker,
of course.
I mean,
no.
Tricking is amazing. It's just I'm not that amazing in that.
Yeah, no, but I think because I think everyone shows up even that doesn't know about skiing, right? I think that's the you go and watch a ski tournament and it's a complete new person in the sport. You have never seen water skiing. One buddy told you, hey, there's this thing going on today. Let's go watch it. You're going to be stoked by jumping, right? So slalom is fun to watch, but you need to have some basic knowledge about what you're watching. Tricking is dynamic, but it all looks like they're doing the same thing. And then you get to jumping, and that's what everyone goes, wow, right? So both the skiers, the non-skiers. And I think the argument there, and I'm curious to hear your opinion, although I think you already said it, the argument is, well, places in which you can perform well are generally in the middle of nowhere. So it's hard to get a crowd. It's hard to expose the sport. So we have to have that balance of public water that might attract people or private water that it's hard to find and nobody goes. What do you think about that whole thing? Do you think it's a valid argument or not?
Oh, I mean, like there's always a middle ground.
Right.
And I think with the right preparation, with the good planning,
Yeah.
there's a lot of places which are in the usually would be quite challenging. You can make it work pretty good. I mean, look at Mumbai.
Yeah.
There's a river with a current in the middle of downtown.
Right.
And, you know, they found the right spot, right time, fixed up a shore a little bit.
Yeah.
And, you know, for how many years it is a great event. It's like one of the highlights of the year. You in the middle of the city and thousands of people there to watch it.
Yeah.
So it is possible, but you just got to do it. You just got to do some work for it, right?
Right.
You can't just say my side is good and it's like a huge, I don't know, huge open water. And then you say, oh, but it's good if the wind will go this way.
Right.
And if not, you professional, you have to do it. You know, this is just stupid.
Yeah.
Like, then put a proper protection
Right.
in the right places.
Right.
But if you don't do it, or you're not willing to do, or you don't have an expertise to do it, it's gonna be a shit show.
Right.
So I hope that, you know, that middle ground where we more close to the people, close to the cities, putting up a great show, but the safety side and we have like a safety tournament director or someone who will be working on the side and thinking how to do it better. I mean, we all always are happy to help.
Of course.
Come and advise and even like help, like, you know, literally to make the site better.
Yeah.
Because it's possible, and it's like small things do a big impact.
Yeah.
You choose the right, you know, angle, right placement, that and that, a little bit of the a wave protection there and there, and you can make the site pretty decent to, you know, jump really far.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but if you think that, okay, we're going to come there in a few days, set up the course, and you guys jump, then it's a, you know, scenario for if you don't even know where the wind is usually blowing or how everything is working here. And especially now, I mean, you can set up sites with jump in both directions. I mean, it's pretty easy. Like, look at Masters.
Right.
They switched the ramp in about like 7 minutes. Directions just right in front of like between women and men final.
Yeah.
Because the wind changed.
Right.
Like, this is great. And it there's like, and it's not that hard when people know how to do it, and they do it, and you know, it works.
Yeah.
And then some other people say that, oh, it's not possible. I mean,
Yeah.
it is possible. What are you talking about?
You just don't want to do
You
it.
just don't want to do it, or you don't want to know how to do it, or you don't want to learn, or, you know, it's better. Maybe you just, it's not even in your interest.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. So, do you like some of you guys lost some events? Because I think this year you had Mumbai, Masters, Malibu that just finished yesterday.
Chile.
Upcoming.
No, we had it in the spring.
In the spring. Okay.
Yeah. And Worlds. Europeans.
Yep.
And that's
about it.
That's about it. I mean, I don't know. Still hoping for King of Darkness. I don't know if it's happening.
Okay.
Last year it was in November,
okay.
I believe. That's a great event.
Guess again night, since it's King of Darkness.
Yeah, it's a night jump.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's perfect man-made lake, and it was a big crowd and everything. So I don't know. I hope this event comes back.
Yeah, I know. I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so man-made lake, big crowd. So I think also there it's a bit of, obviously, as you said, super crucial that the conditions are safe and that are proper for you guys to, compete and showcase your ability. But then you have some tournaments that are on private man-made lakes and they manage to get a crowd. So there's also that side of the organization, right? So like making sure that you can market the event, promote the event to where a crowd of non-skiers might be interested in coming in and watching you guys fly over, 220 feet or whatever. What do you think, from a skier perspective, what do you think can help these organizers to promote it? Like, do you think night jumping is more marketable, or any advice there for someone who might be wanting to put some money for a jump tournament?
I actually think it's more like a local knowledge which helps. Like, what is your area, interested in?
Yeah.
Like maybe they interested in music or festival or that, or like Mumbai, there's a huge city festival going, so you can always join together with something. I mean, it's best case scenario. There is more activities for as something is going on in the city.
Yeah.
You also add up an event and people already there.
Yeah.
And then, what is it, cultural, or it's a specific, or maybe it's another sporting event, or there's like, so I think it could be different multiple scenarios.
Yeah.
So it is hard just to say for people who don't know, there'll be people jumping, come watch.
Right.
No, but it's like you used to have Rocket Man jump, and it was a bikini contest. Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
you know your area, and people will show up for bikini contests.
Yeah, well, I would show up.
Yeah, well, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you, as a local organizer, you actually know better. I mean, skiers and athletes, and we can always will help to promote and spread the word. But
of course,
there where you are, actually better. Maybe it's a wine festival.
Right.
Or it's we jumped in the middle of Geneva for the city day of Switzerland, I think that was.
Yeah.
There was thousands of people on the shore.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a great time to put a jump in there.
Right.
Right. So same as Mumbai, or it doesn't have to be that huge event. Just some kind of event. Like people, like what they like to see something interesting. They like to eat good, and some of them like to drink and listen to the music, and maybe there is some a car show, or it could be anything. Right. Music, DJs, party.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's, your area. You find the right combination for your area, and people will come.
Yeah.
I mean, it's entertaining.
No, for sure it is.
So, but it has to be, for my opinion, a bit more like a professional people who actually have some, like organized something before.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's a ski club, and there's like, we're gonna put up an event, and we're gonna put a poster, on the side of the road. I mean, that's great, but it's still good to have like a person with experience, you know, social media and all the new technologies. It's easier to spread the word rather than putting flyers somewhere. I mean, no one reads flyers anymore.
No.
Yeah, so everything is in your phone. So, or get somehow on the TV, you know, the people with experience, they know their ways there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, it's like you get a more professional person to help you do it who knows the area. There's much more chance to bring the crowd and potential sponsors as well.
Right. No, and I certainly hope that will continue to happen, because as you know, and you're an observant of the sport, like at least in slalom skiing, there have been more and more pro events with money, and of course we want the other skiing events as well to continue on that journey. And you're right. I think especially from a awareness of the sport, marketing perspective, jump seems to be a no-brainer. You know, like,
yeah. Well, I really hope like you're doing an amazing tournament for slalom. So exactly, there's already an event happening. So why don't we just add something more exciting there?
You know, it's in the plans.
Yeah,
my dad
fingers
has been
crossed.
on my case, but I really hope I'll be able to make it.
I so want to go to Italy.
I know, man. I'm trying.
Food and everything.
Listen, I'll tell you what. I'm trying to get jump going next year. If I don't, you strap on your slalom ski and come ski the tournament anyway. And maybe advise us on how we can make our site perfect for a jump event. You know?
For sure. Let me know.
Okay.
I'll be happy to.
Hey, listen, Igor. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking to me. I know I've been keeping you and your lovely wife away from some surfing, so I hope you now can go and enjoy that. But
I hope there are waves there.
Well, hopefully there are now, right?
Yeah, there are now.
Congrats again on this weekend. I mean, for all those that watched on the webcast, it was shocking to see you dominate the event. It was not shocking like as surprising, but like, you know, you just final night, one jump, went home. I think there's nothing better than that.
Oh man, it's hard to describe that feeling, and this is like no better way to do it. You know, I watched so many times like I don't know, Freddie or Ryan doing this. I was like, damn it, this is so awesome. Okay, well, that'll be my turn someday, and I mean, pretty happy. It's like, you know, I was fortunate with like basically starting my pro career with like a really good placements, podiums on World Cups, out of nowhere. And I think that what helped me to realize that I can do it. I'm there, that I'm good enough. And but that was like, as we talked about, no pressure, no brainer.
Right.
Just like, just went there,
exactly.
all done, and
made the final.
Made a podium. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, for like last couple of years, I was feeling that I need to step it up. I mean, it's a lot of podiums, but it'll be nice to have more wins. And I mean, I'm in a good row in Europeans.
Oh yeah.
But
how many do you have now?
4.
4 European championships.
Yeah, but you know, on a pro stage, the podiums are great. Yeah. And always felt myself fortunate to be able to do it. I mean, just to be in jumping and competing with the best in the world. I mean, what else can you ask? Right? It's already, I mean, doing something, you know, among like the best in the world, it's already like, you know, a privilege.
Yeah.
But still, like, you always wonder a win as well.
Of course, competitor at the end of the day.
Yeah, in the end of the day, and this is and that felt great, and especially winning in that fashion.
Yeah,
really like not coming as an underdog, but being in control of situation and doing it right.
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's fun.
Keep enjoying it, because I know it stays for a while, so keep enjoying it. Best of luck with your next events, and hopefully in the future we can do this again.
Yeah, for sure. That was amazing. Thanks for doing this.
Of course.
It was fun chatting with you.
Of course, same here. Thank you, Igor.
Right, cheers.
Bam! Dude! What do you think?
Couldn't shut up.
That's all right, man. That's exactly what I wanted. Thank you.